Hi everyone, I'm Mandy Friedman, licensed professional clinical counselor and clinically certified domestic violence counselor. I'm the creator of SNAP, Survivors of Narcissistic and Abusive Personalities, and I'm the owner of Claremont Mental Health. Today we're going to talk about how narcissistic, abusive, and manipulative people sabotage different elements of our life. That could be our job, our relationships, our good times, our important moments. Abusive people really don't like for us to have the spotlight, and they don't want us to feel really that good about ourselves. So they do things to sabotage this for us. Now, recently a term was brought to my attention, which I just really love, and that is malevolent creativity. And, you know, I did a little research and I found an article by Kaufman, Copley, and Copley, and they defined this as the ability to plan things that purposefully damage people. So that's malevolent creativity, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with believing is real. We see it in TV or in movies and on TV where the bad guy, you know, plots and schemes, and he's being creative about the ways in which that that this person is going to hurt other people, or they're going to take over control, or they're going to you know, win their affections, and you'll see sort of plotting and scheming. Well, because people that are empathic mostly don't believe that this exists in real life, that no one would really be that crafty or evil or purposefully, you know, setting a course to harm another person. We think that that's something that is like fictional, but the truth is that abusive and toxic manipulative people very much so are aware of the plans that they're making in order to cause the other person harm. And when I say harm, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the damage they're trying to inflict is physical, or even that they're trying to simply just strike out to cause pain. They can also be trying to steal the attention. They can also be trying to control the narrative and, you know, frame the context. So malevolent creativity means that this person is going to take the time to think about ways that they can get their way, or they can control, or they can cause you to feel insecure about what it is you're trying to accomplish. So I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ways that abusive people sabotage. They sabotage our ability to gain strength and heal. They sabotage our relationships. They sabotage our profession. But the most important thing is that they sabotage our ability to distinguish which reality is reality because of all the gaslighting and the manipulating. And they sabotage our ability to feel confident in ourselves and our own perceptions. Let's go ahead and go through this list. One way that they sabotage you is through missing or vague information. So they will purposefully not communicate. They will not provide clarifying information so that you're left wondering what's going on. Are they going to show up to the event and things of that nature? So they will purposefully not communicate so that you don't have all the information that you need to proceed with whatever the task is. They will also refuse to create or follow a plan. This is something that's just maddening, where, you know, you try to make a plan so that we're all on the same page, and for some reason they're resisting, or they turn it into something else. Or you make a plan and they agree to it and then they don't follow the plan, or they change the plan frequently. They don't like to be told what to do, basically. And also they want to have the upper hand. So having a plan and an agreed upon shared understanding about the way something is supposed to go down, that puts them at a disadvantage. The advantage, you know, they find is through that obfuscation and keeping things confusing, by not communicating clearly and by not establishing and following plans. Okay, another thing would be to purposefully misunderstand and play dumb.
This is where they have that sort of like selective amnesia, like, oh, I don't remember, oh, I don't know. And you're like, we just talked about it, or we texted, it's in the text strand, just go back and read the email. It was literally yesterday we were on the phone talking. So it'll be something where it's like, yes, you know the answer to this. I can't believe that you're pretending like you don't. But they'll sort of seem confused when they're really not, and they purposefully misunderstand. And that way it keeps you having to explain. It keeps it so that they don't have to follow through with things, because they can always just say, oh, well, I don't remember, or I didn't understand. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. No, they do that on purpose. Another thing that they do is sleep deprivation. So this is sort of, one of the more dastardly things that can happen, and that is the night before something important. Let's say you have a big exam tomorrow, or you have an important event like a job interview or something like that. They will make sure that for whatever reason you don't get sleep the night before, and that can happen a bunch of different ways. Maybe they go out drinking and partying, and so you're wondering what the heck's going on, like, why now is this person behaving this way? Sleep deprivation can happen in different ways, but one way could be that they decide that they're going to go out and go partying that night before your big event, or they're going to be sick or not feel well that evening, or they're going to get really drunk or messed up the night before, so that you don't get a good night's sleep on a night that you really need the sleep. They're going to make sure you don't get it. Also, they like to make you late and feel like you're constantly rushing. So especially if they have to come along for the ride, they'll dilly-dally and not be ready on time, so that you're panicked and you're stressed out and you can't, you're like, we have to go now. And then making you late, and then you start off on the wrong foot of whatever the important thing is for you. They're going to sabotage you by making you feel rushed and hurried and stressed right beforehand. And usually that will be by making you late, or by starting a fight. And that's the next one on the list. They like to start fights. They'll start fights as a way of sleep depriving you. So the night before, they'll start a fight. They'll start a fight right before you're getting ready to arrive somewhere. So you're in the car together, and you'll get in a fight in the car on your way to somewhere. They will cause a fight at the event. So, I'm thinking in particular of an event that my client was having, that finally, she was feeling like, I think I've arrived in terms of my social circles, and I'm feeling good about my relationships. I'm having this event. I'm feeling comfortable with it. And then, a toxic family member who has been a problem, quite frequently, decides that that's when they're going to start using reactive abuse and poking, and then that elicits a response, and then, the response winds up being the center of attention. So then my client looks like they're the badly behaved one, they're the crazy one, but actually it's coming from having been verbally jabbed and poked in a setting where there's people watching, and it'll seem like that the target is the one who's causing the problem. So they will actually play this game at the events themselves in order to sabotage the event. Another thing they will do is they will say that they're okay with something, like, oh yeah, sure, it's fine. Oh, hey Stormy. This is Stormy. Can you say hi? Hi. He's going to help today. They will act like they're okay with something, like, sure, that's fine, yep, oh no, I don't have a problem with that, but then they start behaving like that they do have a problem with it, and then you're very confused. So it might be something like, hey, I know we normally have our time together on Friday evenings. I know that normally Fridays are the night that we do such and such, but there's this event that I really want to go to. Would you mind if I went and then we just skip this week? And then they're like, oh yeah, sure, go have a good time, of course. But then that night when you go to do your thing, whatever it is, you find that they're not okay with it, they're behaving really nasty, and then you feel guilty because you're going off to do this fun thing, and so they're trying to make it so that you don't enjoy yourself. So they'll say, yeah, sure, go, it's fine, yeah, have a good time, but then they'll start acting like a real jerk
around the time that you're supposed to leave or while you're gone. So you're there at the event and they're texting you and being nasty, and then that distracts you from being able to, you know, focus on the people or the place where you are. Your mind is not there. Your mind is focused on this other person, and that's the whole point. Also, they will make sure that we have access to drugs and alcohol if that's something that causes us to soften our boundaries and allow them to control us. If you know, if you struggle with alcohol, or if you know, there's a substance in your house that people are addicted to and you are also addicted, they will be sure that you have a lot of that leading up to the time when you should be actually trying to sober up for things. So they'll be pushing drugs and alcohol on you right around the same time that you really need to be mentally present. They also like to get in the way of your self-care. So, you know, if every week you go to do yoga and that's something that you like, notice that every time before or after you do yoga, there's some kind of an issue. And it could be a variety of different things. Or while you're at yoga, stuff happens. They want you to not feel as if you can have an autonomous life or an autonomous experience outside of them. They don't like the idea that your mind isn't focused on them. Remember that narcissistic and abusive people thrive on our attention and our emotion. So sabotage is a way of, you know, gaining the attention, because now our attention is back on them, getting us worked up. So now here comes the emotion, right? So it actually fuels them to sabotage, but then it also has another effect, which is, you know, really perfect for them, is that it makes us less successful in life, and it makes us feel bad about ourselves and not confident in ourselves. And so then we'll be more likely to stay stuck in the relationship. They will also purposefully cause issues with your other relationships. So if there are people in your life that really support you and you feel fueled by being near them, or if they give you the confidence to confront things in your relationship, the abusive and manipulative person is going to make sure that they have launched a smear campaign or triangulated in some way to damage the relationships you have with other people. And this could be because they're jealous. It could be because they don't want you to divide your attention. It could also be because that person represents a way out for you. Pay attention to messages that you're receiving from the narcissistic person that are negative about people in your life that you care about. They will launch complaints and have issues with this person when you've never had issues with this person. So it's going to, you know, sort of conflict or contrast from what your experience with this person is. So say, for example, you know, you have a great relationship with your mom and you communicate really well, and your mom is a really super nice, kind person. There's no issue. Well, the abusive person isn't going to like that you have a good relationship with your mother, and they're going to start pointing out little things like, did you see how your mom did this or this or this? And you're like, no, that didn't occur to me. No, I don't, you know, and you start to question your relationship with those people. So they like to sabotage your connections with others. Also, they will increase your workload. So this could be housework, work with taking care of your children, or if we're talking about a boss or a workplace environment, they will, you know, make sure they're piling on extra work for you. Or they will take something that is normally their job and not complete it and leave it then for you to have to complete. And then finally, and I mentioned this word just a moment ago, triangulation. So narcissistic and manipulative people love to triangulate. And what I mean by that is that they like to, in some way, find a third party that they can utilize to manipulate you, or to make you feel isolated, or to bolster their own narrative, to affirm their narrative. So they will use other people to manipulate you, and sometimes it's fictional. So they'll claim that they've had a conversation with someone, or they will claim that they've witnessed something with this other person that's completely fabricated. But other times they will, you know, buddy up with some of your important people and act like that, oh yeah, I love them, they're great people, but then they're also in the ear of that person running a smear campaign. Okay, so we talked about how malevolent creativity allows manipulative and abusive people to plot and scheme and find ways to damage their target. And by damaging the target, they achieve three things. One is they gain attention. Two is they elicit your emotions. And three, they break you down and make you less likely then to confront the situation, correct the situation, or leave the situation. Okay, if you like this video, please do me a favor and subscribe and click like. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.